Here's how you can build massive content out of one episode. Stay with me on this one. I'm going to give you some solid tips. And again, I'm just giving general answers. It doesn't mean like they are like the full standards. And if you feel like you have extra insights, feel free to share them down in the comment. If not, and if you have extra questions, feel free to DM me. I'm always happy to support where it makes sense. Now, without any further ado, let's get into it. When it comes up to having one episode out of your podcast, I know most of you guys focus on like show notes, descriptions, and transcripts, this, that, and the other. But another way to actually maximize the use of your podcast is actually to convert each episode into a blog and newsletter for your LinkedIn and a newsletter for your mailing list, and at the same time stocking all of that content, building tips out of what you actually shared during your episode. If you actually share tips, if your podcast is related to conversation and you highlight in other people's journey, then you make sure that you are actually documenting that through a journal or a newsletter, as I said. So once you have all of these, where we worked with like some people where they actually end up converting their full podcast into a book and they end up selling the book because they have like focused on much quality conversation that it makes sense for that podcast to be actually a book and to help people with the tips from experts and so on and so forth. So if you want to maximize the use of your podcast, make sure that you have all of these done, like your show notes, transcripts, blogs, newsletters for both like your mailing list. Email marketing is one of the best way to grow also the audience, and also the newsletter here on LinkedIn. Literally, it will like just change your mind around like how you think about newsletters and so on and so forth. So that's one thing that you can do with the content. Later on, when it comes up to actually working on the marketing or the promotion, it will be easy to highlight what kind of topics, what kind of tips that we want to share or we want to promote over our social media, since this episode is about that. So we can drive more traffic to, have like new listeners, this, that, and the other. So yeah, that's pretty much about like how to build the content around it. And see you guys on my next one. Bye bye.